Hi. So for about a year, I have been disguising my political ideology. I've been intentionally vague about things for a couple of reasons. The main reason has been to protect my channel, to protect myself from harm that could be brought about by me expressing things that I honestly believe. I remember, 5 years or so ago, I had less extreme views than I hold now. And I remember being booted off of YouTube, off of Twitter, off of Facebook, just for my views. That experience essentially taught me that if I was going to be on a big tech platform, I was going to have to play their game. And it doesn't even matter if I sort of try to dog whistle my beliefs. Doesn't matter. They'll catch you. They'll kick you off. There's no point in even bothering because it's too big of a headache. That being said, I'm going to try to explain what I believe. I'm going to keep it vague so that I protect myself. Even speaking about it vaguely is still a risk, but I'm so tired of this shtick, and I'm so tired of people thinking that I'm on their team, and I'd rather just clear the air and get you my actual beliefs. So for the last 2 or 3 years, I've called myself an identitarian. What does that mean? It's not a scary word. It doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and start a genocide. It just means I identify with my race, my culture, my heritage. That's it. It means I know where I've come from and I know where I'm going. That's it. So the first thing you get when you tell people that you're an identitarian is you get people basically assuming that you're racist. First of all, the word racist doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean anything to me. Am I a racialist? Do I see differences in race? Am I not a race denier? Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I view, my race as being superior to other races. It just means I view differences in them. And it's such a basic thing to explain. And it's an idea that is a basic truth, but is essentially far outside the Overton window to even mention. It's absurd to me. It's extremely frustrating. Am I not supposed to talk about sickle cell anemia? All I'm saying is I prefer my race to other races. And the only reason for that is because, it's the same reason I prefer my family to other families. It's the same reason I prefer my group of friends to other group of friends. It's the group that I'm a part of, and I want to represent the group that I'm a part of. That's it. It's not rocket science, and it's something most of us act out but just don't talk about. I view cultures as these wonderful, moving creatures through time. They're composed of millions and millions of people. The people belong to the culture belongs to the people. It's cohesive. I think in the last 50 years or so, these cultures have been forced together, smushed together for some reason. Who knows why? And they're basically melding together and being smushed into this gray consumer with no culture, no heritage, just a desire to keep buying and producing and being a happy little drone. I genuinely think that that's where humanity is headed unless something is done about it. When I talk about the mixing of cultures, I speak from personal experience. My dad was Italian, my mom was from France. Technically, most people would see that as about the same race, but even just having that cultural separation, two different cultures, it makes it difficult for me to know exactly where I came from, what my heritage is. It muddies the waters of my past, and I think that's a big reason why I had a lot of depression growing up. It's because I didn't have a link to my roots, especially growing up in a liberal, multicultural, post-racial kind of town in Canada. It was difficult for me to try to find something that really connected with me. I was disconnected from my tradition. I was divorced from my tradition. It took me a while to go backwards and find out where I came from for me to appreciate that. I used to be a neoconservative. I grew up in a very liberal town, so even that was difficult for me. I had conservative views on abortion. I was very pro-life. I did a spoken word poem about pro-life 4 or 5 years ago now. I'll show you that.
So everybody give Gregory a huge round of applause.
Because from the youth in Canada to the youth in Asia, we all have to stand against abortion and euthanasia.
So that was way back in the day. I have more specific views. I have a lot of issues with my belief system that I had before. For example, I'm still pro-life, but you have to ask yourself, okay, which group of people am I pro-life for? Which group of people do I want to apply that logic to? You can fill in the rest. Another thing is, a lot of conservatives don't believe in climate change. I think climate change is real, and I think if you look at what climate change is going to be doing to migrants especially, there are very good cases to be made that, unlike a lot of people my age think is a good idea, that the border should be quite tightened instead of open. I think there is a migration crisis in the West, and I think it is only getting worse as time goes on, and especially as the planet warms and more people are forced out of their homes. I think that there's only one place that they're going to be able to come, and I think this liberal notion that we're going to keep our borders open forever is going to be disproved, and is already kind of being disproved. So I was more of a neoconservative, and now I'm more of a paleoconservative, I guess you could say. I am a lot more isolationist than I used to be. You can tell in the poem I say, "From the youth in Canada to the youth in Asia, we all have to stand against abortion and euthanasia." No. I honestly, I don't care. I do not care about what happens to the East or to the West of the West. I just care about the West. The other main thing that I've changed is I used to be very religious. I think a lot of what Christianity has become is that of a declawed lion. I think there was power in it before. I think that power has been lost. I find a lot more inspiration from paganism. Even then, though, I'm more or less an atheist now. About a year ago, I started reading leftist literature just so I knew what I was up against. I kind of just ignored it before. And I wanted to accurately portray, the leftist characters. And I think I did a good job of that. There are a lot of ancoms in my audience. And if you're an anarcho-communist and you're listening to this, and you obviously oppose, nationalism and what I believe in, I suggest you stick around, because I think as you grow older, as you look at the world and how it changes around you, I think your views are going to change, and I think you might want to listen to what I have to say. I also know that some people in the audience already knew I was something along the lines of a nationalist. I told people in Discord earlier. They know. I told them to keep it a secret. You can tell people now. I don't care. And one of the things I was trying to do here was to show that, big tech is biased against people that they view as leftists. I tried to pass as a leftist, and as a result, I got away with making a Nazi character, an unambiguous protagonist in my Centricide series. And when the Nazi in Centricide 3 kills the Christian conservative, that, for me, was the part of my political journey where I cast aside that which was holding me back, the notion of morality, Christian morality, and I became, more along the lines of a traditionalist, but not associating my tradition with the Christian or Catholic tradition. So yeah, now you know. If somebody's confused, send them this video, clear things up. I'm kind of tired of pretending like I endorse degeneracy. Hopefully this clears things up. I hope you're less confused by the end of this video. And yeah, thanks for watching.